Here's a review of all the outlooks and warnings and watches. So this is the severe weather outlook for today. And as you can see, I'll change my pen color here to white so we can see it. This is the moderate risk here in red, and that encompasses Lebanon and Houston and West Plains for sure. And then it just kind of decreases from there going south and west. So this is actually for thunderstorms, not ambient wind. And this is going to be kicking in this afternoon. And you can see that red is 4 out of 5 on the scale that the Storm Prediction Center uses to analyze threat. And all hazards are possible with any of this, including tornadoes. And that's the next topic here. Now, this has been adjusted ever so slightly today. Well, first of all, if you were watching yesterday, this new 15% category is new. And it's been kind of tweaked. Earlier today, it was only about that big, and now it's encompassing much more of eastern and southeastern Missouri, including St. Louis. Locally here in southwest Missouri, Rolla and Houston and West Plains are in that 15% risk. And also coincident with this is a higher risk as an EF 3 or 4 or 5, or actually 2 and 3 and 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sorry about that. I got my EF scales messed up. But anyway, so be watching very carefully. It's been subtle. I've been watching the moisture try to increase from the south, and I've talked about this several times, and it's going to really contribute to how unstable this air is out here. I'm still seeing large dew point spreads between the dew point and the temperature, which leads to high base storms. So we'll see if tornadoes can be generated from this. Now, on the opposite side of the coin, the dynamics are incredible in most cases, so we're just going to have to watch that very carefully. The winds are another factor. This is the mesonet in Oklahoma. Everything in purple here is above 50 miles per hour. I see some isolated 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here. This was at 1 o'clock or so, just before 1 o'clock. And you can even see, if we switch to the visible satellite loop, watch this area of brown right here show up. That's dust. There, right here. Look at that, as it's advancing across Oklahoma. And then we're seeing the cumulus clouds form for the new area of showers and thunderstorms. And this one's going to have to watch carefully. And we'll talk about this area in the model guidance here coming up. Here are the warnings that are in effect. A high wind warning right here, right through, oh my goodness, my pen won't work today. A high wind warning right through here, wind advisories for the rest of the area. And what goes with this is the fire weather problem. So it's dry, it's before things have greened, and it's very windy. So outdoor burning across any of these areas on this map just is not a good idea. Here's a look at the high resolution model here, and we're going to look at radar output. This is the model that was run right before noon, and this is valid at about 1 p.m. And it does show that little weak area of convection that tried to move through here. There were some small hail reports with that when it was west of Springfield earlier this morning. And we're going to watch how that evolves and just kind of dissolves and breaks apart. Then look at the storm developing around Joplin, spreading into the Springfield area and areas just north. This is about 6 p.m. Here at about 7, that was 5 p.m. I'm sorry, 6 p.m. is that. These little areas that you see here, these gray areas, are swaths of where the updrafts are very strong. So I think some large hail with some of these cells is certainly going to happen. High winds. And it's already pretty easy to get these ambient high winds transferred down to the surface. A thunderstorm is going to do it even better. So 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts with some of these storms or more, not out of the question. Let me advance this a little bit more down the road here. You're seeing more of these individual cells with these gray streaks indicating very strong updrafts. These look like supercells. They are. The big question is, will they have tornado potential? And the answer to that would lie, I think, in the spread between the dew point and the temperature, which looks to be about 20 degrees out ahead of this, which is a little bit of a high base thunderstorm to produce a tornado, but a very dynamic situation can fix that. Or the model output on that spread could be wrong. And I'm watching dew points come up from Arkansas, so it could be possible that some of these storms kind of reach that limit. So as you saw with the severe storm outlooks that I just showed you, this is a possibility the more east you go and the more into the evening you go, because the conditions favorable for supercells are kind of returning along the line of those arrows. That's a fascinating chase potential, if you ask me, right there. That's at 8 o'clock, though, so that would be after dark. So I don't think that's probably going to work out real well. But anyway, a very dynamic situation. So watch out for the ambient wind and watch out for these thunderstorms to produce large hail, even stronger winds possibly than the ambient winds that are circulating around that low. And also, tornado potential increases into the evening, and the more east you go with that 15% risk, as you recall, kind of like an out in this area here, beginning about right here and going east. So just keep that in mind for you folks living east of Springfield here. Let's say from dinner to about 8 or 9 o'clock or so is your time to be watching the skies carefully.